The Think Big, Act Small morning show. My name's Tristan White. And I'm excited to be here with you on a Tuesday morning. Now, in today's show, we're going to talk about the intersection between timing and tools on making a change in our business and in our life. Let me explain that a little bit. That is, in my experience, when we want to make a change in the way we do things personally, professionally, in our team or in our life, we often need a new tool, a new technique, a new checklist, a new strategy, a new way of doing things that someone might have designed or helped create that they've been through this change before. We also need timing, and that is the timing has to be right for us to have the will, the space, the motivation, the energy. All those things have to align. And in my experience, when we have the right tool and the right timing, then we can absolutely make a change. But if we get either of those wrong, then it's a big battle. There's too much friction to actually make the change we're looking for. So we'll get into this in a tick, but first things first, welcome to the show. Really nice to be here with you. If you are here live, please say hello in the comments, just like Carmel has done. Good morning, Carmel. Nice to have you with us from Perth. And good morning, Jeffrey, as well. Regulars, you guys, really pleased to be here with you. If you are here either live or on the replay, please feel free to say hello in the comments and or send me an email. Tristan@tristanwhite.com.au is where you'll find me. Now this show, the Think Big, Act Small morning show, is here Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 8:45 a.m. to 9 a.m. Melbourne, Australia time. This Thursday, I am not going to be here in my home office, in my home studio. I will be on the road, and so I will do my very best to have a show on Thursday morning. But it won't look exactly the same as this, and it might be just a little bit different. But that's Thursday of this week. But we're here. It's Tuesday, and today, for us service-based entrepreneurs that are leading teams and doing our very best to create the best culture we can by becoming the best leaders we can and making sure that we've got cash flow to support and sort of, I guess, sustain our businesses, I want to talk about this idea of making a change in our team, making a change in our business, making a change in our life with a combination of tools and timing. Let me give you a very quick recent example of this, and that is that last Thursday on the show, we talked about team meetings. We talked about a tool that I shared with you, some tips from my experience that I've learned from others and trialed and given my best shot to a method or an approach to team meetings. And I shared that tool with you. And the timing was right for Carmel because Carmel had a team meeting coming up in the not too distant future after that show, and Carmel had been preparing, and so the tool arrived at the right timing for Carmel to really try something new, embed it, and give it and make it work the best way she possibly can. And Carmel, I appreciate your follow up to send me a message and let me know that that you did have that meeting after our show last week. So thank you. That is one example. Another example from me is that a few years ago, it was probably up to the year 13 or 14 at the Physio Co. We're up to almost 18 now. I knew that, I didn't know, but I had the sense that my leadership and my communication skills had been developing, but I hadn't learnt the important skills of being assertive, being more direct, redirecting team members in a way which connected with them, but also got the outcomes for our team and for our business, and would take my leadership and our business and my life to the next level, if you will. And so I knew that I was missing that skill. Quick side note here. At that moment in time, I could barely say the word assertive. I felt very uncomfortable because for me, assertive felt like and was completely confused with aggressive. And aggressive was something that I was not comfortable with. I didn't want to be an aggressive communicator, an aggressive leader. And for me, assertive and aggressive were completely joined, and it was very blurry. I now understand the difference between assertive and aggressive, and I'm able to embrace assertiveness when required. But back to the story is that I needed some help to take my leadership to the next level, and so I started working with a coach, an executive coach. Her name was Anita, and Anita helped me to understand what was important to me, what our team needed, gave me some strategies and some tools and some techniques that would help me And over a period of time, we worked together for about 6 months or so, I learnt the tools and I embraced the timing that we're at. And I was able to learn those skills and make that change and become that assertive leader when needed. I'm also very, very able to embrace the empathy end of the empathy accountability continuum. But that was a tool for me. And so for me, the tool arrived at the right timing. Here's the thing, I'm sure I'd read and come across tools that would help me be a more assertive communicator in the past. And I'm sure there was times when I'm like, I have to get better at this, or it would have been ideal for me to get better at being more an assertive communicator. But it wasn't until that intersection arrived of both the combination of the right tool with the right timing that enabled me to embrace that change and make progress on that important part of my career and my leadership. And so that is the topic for today. And I just wanted you to consider it. I wanted you to consider what in the past in your life, when have you come across a tool that you thought was really, really useful and probably could make a lot of influence in your life, but the timing just wasn't right. Maybe you tried it, maybe you give it a shot, but then you just moved away from it because it just felt too hard. The timing wasn't right. Or when was the time like, yes, I'm going to get fitter, I'm going to get healthier, I'm going to make a change in my my fitness side of my life. But perhaps you didn't have the right tools, the right program, the right accountability, the right guidance to go with it, and therefore you might have slipped away from it. That might be just me, by the way, but that's another example. And so I'm interested in how you've come across this idea, or maybe it's applied in your life, about tools and timing in the past. And I'd just love you to consider, after we've considered the past, where are we up to now? What are some of the things that you'd love to make a change on? And do we have to make sure that we've got the right tool and that our will, our motivation, and the space in our lives is right to make this change? And so that's the question today. I can see there's a comment here from Jeffrey. So let me check that out and put that up on the screen for all of us to read. So Jeffrey writes, over the last year, I've implemented an automation integration into our practice management software. It automated patient communications so that we can get feedback from patients after their consultations so that we can course correct if needs be. It has been challenging and very rewarding. The tweaking continues. Right. So, Jeffrey, this is the tool. The tool is this automation integration. The timing it's taken a while, and it's been a pain in the neck at times by the sounds of things. Sounds like you might have been ready to throw in the towel or at least question it a few times, but you've had the will, you've had the energy to make it work, and you've combined the tools and timing. Jeffrey, really great example. I really appreciate that. And there's a bit more to your comment here. Definitely had an initial attempt about 3 years ago, but the other program was more complex and less user-friendly, so I waited to have a go again. This time it worked. Interesting, Jeffrey. So a few years ago, the timing seemed right, but you didn't have the right tool. And then so that you didn't progress to that one. It just didn't work out, and I'm very familiar with that. I think we all are. And then this time, the timing was right, and you found the right tool, and you've been able to make better progress. Jeffrey, that's a really, really positive example. I appreciate you understanding the concept of tools and timing to make a change, and that example is one that you've considered. So excellent. Carmel writes here, the timing is definitely the thing that changes everything. Yeah, entirely, Carmel. So a personal example from me is that I'm feeling fitter and stronger than I have in my adult life and professional life than maybe ever, at least for a long while this year. But the backstory is that I've attempted to be fitter and healthier for probably a decade. There was a time when I realized that my physical health was not a priority, and I embraced a lifestyle of choosing to do some triathlons, including some very long triathlons, an Ironman triathlon, which was almost a decade ago now. And I made some progress, and I completed that triathlon, but it wasn't sustainable, and I dropped back to some less healthy habits. And then it's probably in the last 5 years I've known that I wanted to get into better shape, but I've had starts and stops and ways that have sort of worked, and then but this year, for whatever intersection, if you like, the timing has been right. I've had the right tools, the right and the right maybe being home more has been a significant part of that for me. The timing that I felt the motivation was right, and the tools, the right program to follow, and the right location to be in has been really, really helpful for me as well. So that's one example that works on my end. Hey, Carmel writes, I'm still searching for the right program to do similar things for our team. Yeah, Carmel, as much as we need to find the right time, we've got to have the will, but maybe we don't understand if we've got the right tool and the right timing until we continue to try and we adjust. And if it doesn't seem right, then we can adjust and find the timing or look for a new tool. By the same token, it's our perfectionism is something we need to manage as well. And so this is a complex concept, but it's an idea that I wanted you to consider. So as we come to the end of our show today, the idea is, what change are we looking to make in our business or our life, perhaps as we look towards 2022? And if we are going to consider a change, then do we have the right tool, or do we think we have the right tool? And are we considering the timing, as in, do we have the space, the energy, the motivation, the will, all those things required? That is the idea to consider as we wrap up this show today. So thank you for being part of the Think Big, Act Small morning show. I really appreciate it. Jeffrey and Carmel especially being live. If you're here live or on the replay, thank you. I appreciate you. Thursday morning, 8:45 a.m. I will attempt to have a show, but I'll be in a different place. So fingers crossed we can make that work. Worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out, I will be back next Tuesday at 8:45 a.m. Melbourne, Australia time. For the time being, have a fantastic, fantastic day. And remember, think big, act small. See you later.